So you're just getting into photography and you've taken a few photos, you want to edit those photos but you don't know what program to use. You've heard of those really expensive ones like Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop, but you're not sure if you should pay the subscription fee because of how pricey they are. Today I'm going to compare two different photo editing softwares. One of them is free, which is amazing, and the other is Adobe Lightroom, which is obviously quite expensive. So I'm going to compare them to see if they can edit the same photo to the same standard in the same way. Let's get into it. All about new intro, guys. Okay guys, I hope you like that intro. It's just something new, just been playing around with things. Today, like I said, we're talking about editing photos and two different programs, and it's Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, and the other one is Snapseed. Snapseed is, I'm pretty sure, made by Google, or at least Google has bought the app, so something like that. But it's owned by Google at the moment, and it is actually a pretty damn good app. You can do a lot with it, a lot more than many other free photo editing apps, and you can pretty much do exactly what you can do with Adobe Lightroom. So if you're just getting into photography and you haven't done really anything previously to do with filmmaking or photography, you're going to want to probably go with the cheapest thing or something free if that is an option. That is why I'm talking about Snapseed and comparing it to a really high price platform, because you can actually see that you can actually get so much out of free apps. At the moment, the only reason I use Lightroom over Snapseed is because I have the Adobe Creative Cloud suite of apps. And it's just better because I can sync photos between the apps on different devices. But when it comes down to it, if you're just editing photos and you're not using Premiere Pro and After Effects or Photoshop, then really you only need the free thing, which is Snapseed, because it's just as good as Lightroom. So today I'm going to be using my iPad. You can use your phone, it can be iOS, it can be Android. If you are using Lightroom, you can obviously use it on your laptop as well, but Snapseed, as far as I know, you can only do that on mobile device. So this is the photo that we're going to be editing today. I've actually already played around with it and edited it, and it's actually on my Instagram, but we're going to use this as the example because I really like the look of this Honda Civic here. This was actually just taken with my Samsung S8 Plus, and it was not in Pro mode. It's actually just a simple JPEG file, and it was in complete auto mode. I did not play around with any of the settings. So let's jump into Lightroom first and go into the light section. This is just where I like to start my edit. I'll probably just do a time lapse because I'm not really going to be explaining how I edit my photos. I can do that in another video though. If you want to know how I do them, just comment below and leave a like and stuff. I'll make sure to make a video. Okay, so that really only took 30 to 60 seconds, and I was just playing around with the curves. Started with the contrast, adding a bit of contrast in, then I took a bit of the reds out of the mids and the lows, and then I just took a bit of blue out of the mids, just so it wasn't so saturated in the blues that it was just overpowering. You can compare it by holding down on the photo and then letting go just to see what it looked like before and then what it looks like now. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You can do so much more with it though. You can crop, you can use this healing brush tool, there's plenty of presets that you can choose from, but that's Adobe Lightroom. Now let's head over to Snapseed. So with Snapseed, when you open it up, it doesn't have a bunch of photos there, because the way it works isn't in a cloud like Adobe Lightroom does, because Lightroom syncs with all the other Adobe apps from the Creative Cloud suite. Whereas Snapseed is just an app on its own, and the photos are only in the app while you're editing, but then they're out of the app once you've stopped editing and closed the app. So let's click on the plus button. Now you start off with the presets because Snapseed is meant for simple editing, and sometimes people just want to click a preset and export it and then they're done. I never use presets though, I love to just do my own thing. So to start off, you can either click tune image, which is with the slider bars and stuff like that, or you can go to the curves, which is where I always go to because like I said, I love curves, they just work really well. So to change the different channels, it's the channel here, you can play around with that, go into the red, take that out. So once you're done, you click the check mark, and you can add some effects like vignettes. That's vintage, that's not vignette. What am I doing? Vignettes, add a bit of that in, and there we go. Now does that look the same? Does that look the same to you? It looks pretty much the same to me. and it looks pretty darn good. And I did that with a free application. If we go over to Lightroom, it looks pretty much exactly the same. A few settings might be different, but you can make them the same. Look at that. I mean, seriously, there's nothing different about those two photos. Something else that is really important is editing raw photos. Originally, it was only Lightroom that could do this, but the other day I actually found out that Snapseed does this as well. They just added the new feature. You can edit raw photos that you take on your phone if your phone allows that, or from your Canon, like Canon RAW photos. But yeah, this is a free program, and you can do exactly the same thing as you can do in Snapseed as you can do in Lightroom. Like seriously, there is no doubt that if you're on a budget and you're just getting into photography, Snapseed is as good as Lightroom. You don't need to go paying that high subscription fee if you're just taking photos and editing them. It's so not worth the high cost when there are these free programs out there. Now, like I said, the only downside of this program, literally the only downside, is that you can't use it on your laptop. So if you only have a laptop, which is very rare these days, then this is just not an option. You can't use Snapseed. But if you do have a phone or an iPad or some sort of tablet, you can edit these photos in Snapseed, which is so good. Anyway, I didn't want to make this video too long, so I better stop ranting on about this. But if you are into photography and you're just a beginner, definitely go and download this Snapseed app. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want. Obviously, can't be affiliated with it because it's free. So yeah, click that link below and you'll head over to the App Store or the Play Store, wherever it is. So I hope that's helped you guys out. I hope it's helped you get into that creative state and take some photos or videos, edit them, write, whatever it is that creative part of you. Just keep doing it, keep getting better at it, keep growing in that area. If you want to check out more of my work on Instagram, you can head over to @Jessel04. I'll leave a link in the description as well if you want to check that out. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button because it really helps, and also subscribe if you want to see my future videos. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys have a great day and make sure to keep creating. See you in the next one.